This is Taekwon 1000 Finest. What up, everybody? Today, we're here with the top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. That's right, the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that provided the best and most funnest duelist experience. Let's go down the list. Alright, so at number 10, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! Reef of Destruction. So, this game are these two games that I mentioned. One is part 1 and one is part 2. They're both the same style. They use the same graphics. So, after one part ends, the other one begins. And it's so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Games and stuff. And games like these where, like, they have a part 1 and a part 2 and they're using the same game engine and it's like the same games, just expanded. I like to put those games together because I don't want you to miss out. Like, you don't really want to play one without the other. But if you have to only play one, I would go with part 2 because part 2 is just better. It's part 2. Come on. But part 1 is amazing too. But let me get into part 1. So in part 1, it's amazing because you play this new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game and the rules differ from the normal card game. So it takes a bit of getting used to. But once you get used to like the different types, the advantages, the disadvantages that the monsters have, you can strategize and make your weaker monsters get a fill power bonus over your opponent's monsters and win and move on in the game. This game is good because it has the 3 Egyptian god cards in it. The only thing I don't like about the first one is that you get Obelisk the Tormentor, you get Slifer the Sky Dragon, but you never get the Winged Dragon of Ra. You get it at the end on the last fight, and you don't get to use it anymore. So that kind of sucks. The only way to use him is to use Change Your Heart on him and to play him in that last final battle. But in part 2, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reef of Destruction, you get the 3 god cards early, and it's just going crazy in the duelist world, and you're winning new cards and you're fighting powerful opponents. So against the rare hunters and stuff. So that game is amazing. Definitely check those games out. At number 9, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters. That game, again, it's not the normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Style. It's different. It's based off Dungeon Dice from the TV show. And once you learn the rules of the game and you get into it and you learn about the dice summoners and everything, and that game is crazy and it goes in. I like these games because they're not the original style of Yu-Gi-Oh! So they're always interesting. Like, you don't have to be caught up to Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't have to... It's like you could just play the game and it's new. It's not boring. It's interesting. It's something new you get to get used to. All your favorite monsters is there. The Blue Eyes is there. The Dark Magician is there. It's other new monsters. It's new strategies, new combos, new way to play. And you're playing out on the map and you're attacking your opponent heart points. And you have your deck masters and stuff. This game is amazing. Like, I learned how to play and I like it a lot. So definitely check out Dungeon Dice Monsters. At number 8, we got Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship Tournament 2004. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Ultimate Masters World Championship Tournament 2006. So these are both World Championship Tournament games for the Game Boy Advance. They're amazing, very fun, great games. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2004 uses the older cards and it's the official playing style. But this game is amazing because it has a bunch of duelists. Like, it has like Yugi, Taya, Mako, Bandit Keith, Esperova. It has Kaiba in it. It has the Rare Hunters in it. It has Yami Yugi, Yami Bakura, Yami American. It has the dual computer and different levels of duelists, and it just gets harder and harder and harder. It has like 1-star duelists to 6-star duelists, and the 6-star duelists do not play. Like, it's crazy. A very fun game to play, and it even have cool characters like this blue guy in it. So, and he has a very good playing style. Like, something is up with his ability to where like he's like the luckiest person, and he flips coins in his deck a lot, and he always gets what he needs, and it's just a fun. It's like it's broken. So in a fun way, very competitive game. And when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2006, that game is amazing because I remember playing it and it had cards that didn't even come out yet. It had the gadgets in it and those cards didn't even come out yet. It had like structure decks in it that didn't even come out yet. It was like up to date with the Japan cards, and that was cool because, getting to play with cards before they came out is great. So when those cards did come out in real life, I was on point. I knew how to play with them already and I knew what I wanted. So 2 definitely good games. Like, I couldn't put one up here without putting the other. And to expand on the 2 games a bit more, World Championship 2004 is the classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and World Championship 2006 is the start of the GX cards. So definitely check those 2 games out. Number 7 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Generations for cell phones, Android and iPhones, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelists for PC, for PS4, for Xbox One. It's for the system. So these 2 games are amazing, and why I grouped them both together is that I remember playing the phone game and it was just mad fun. It was the funnest Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I ever played on the phone, and one of the funnest Yu-Gi-Oh! Games I ever played. And it was amazing. It had like the Sailor Orichalcos in it, and that was the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that I ever played that had the Sailor Orichalcos in it. For some reason, Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't like putting that card in the game. I guess it's too broken. But I like that game a lot. And then, it's Legacy of the Duelists. And from what I heard, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Generation is like the mobile version of Legacy of the Duelists. And I have Legacy of the Duelists for PC. And that game is, it's fun. It's fun to an extent, but those two games, they're the two most up-to-date official cards that play with the official rules. That are the most up-to-date from the official Konami themselves. And, in Legacy of the Duelists, I'm playing the story mode, playing Yugi story mode, playing duels as Joey and stuff. And, the game has a lot of new cards that I've never seen before. So, for the most official up-to-date game, you definitely want to be playing one of these two games. If you like the official traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. These games are amazing. Check them out. My only problem with Legacy of the Duelists is that the graphic looks like Nintendo 64 graphics, and they don't even have graphics. Like, certain monsters have graphics, and the graphics of the whole game looks like the Game Boy Advance games to me, just like a little slightly better. And that's not good, because for a system game, it should be powerful graphic wise for a system game, not looking like this. I know that it was like a download and not really a game, but they could have did more with it. Like, this is fine. Like, if this was for the Game Boy Advance, if this was for the DS, I wouldn't complain. I would love it. But for a system, for a PC, I'm just expecting a little bit more, to be honest. Older games like Duelists of the Roses and stuff, and you get a Falsebound Kingdom, have better graphics than that game, and that's not cool. You should never backtrack. So let's go on to the next game, which is number 6, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, aka Why Go Pro. This game is a fan-made game that gives you all the cards, just all of them. They don't care. Every card is there, even cards that's in Japan only. All the cards is there. If a card is in a movie, it's there. Everything is there. So this game is amazing when it comes to the card database, because it just has so many cards. Like, I was making a deck for like 3 days because there was so many cards. Just like, looking at the cards, like, wow. Like, how I'm going to make a spellcaster deck, because there was so many, and I had to get the game of rights because there was just so many cards and so much stuff to think about. But I made a sick deck that puts a lot of work in that game. So this game is amazing for a fan-made game. It's like, see, like, the fans know what we want. All the cards. Don't hold back on cards. Just give us all the cards. This game does not have graphics just like Legacy of the Duelists, but it's a fan-made game. I can understand. Other than that, this game graphics look just as good as Legacy of the Duelists, if not better. So, amazing work. And I just like this so much better. So, in terms of, like, playing, this game is way more fun than Legacy of the Duelists, because all the cards is there. It's more cards. It's more competitive. You can play online with people. You can play online in the other game too, but it's just more cards to play more competitively with, and you get all the cards. You don't have to grind for them. You don't have to beat the story mode. And Why Go Pro is kind of like Pokemon Showdown, where it's like, yo, make your deck, pick any cards you want, and go at it with other players. You can go at it with the computer. So, a very fun and amazing game, number 6. A big shout out to the developers and everything for making it onto this list, because this is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, and for a fan-made game to reach this high up on a list, it shows something that, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Y'all gotta step your games up. Like, fan-made games shouldn't be getting up on the list. I gotta, like, we enjoy graphics, and we enjoy a lot of the cards being there. We don't like the limited card pool and no graphics. For portable games, that's fine, but for system games, definitely just bring back the graphics and chill with the weak monsters. Like, we don't need the normal 500 attack monsters, the normal 350 attack monsters. Like, we don't need a lot of that in the game. Yeah, it's a lot of useless cards in the game that they have, and then a few strong ones. Like, we like the balance. YG Pro is like, yo, you want to go crazy with all the up-to-date rules, all the up-to-date cards, YG Pro is amazing. And I'm not a fan of fan-made games because they're always so glitchy. This game is so good, you can't tell the difference. It's like it's a real Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. And the music is great, and you could even tag duel. You can even speed duel. This game, check that game out. Next on the list, at number 5, Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters for the PlayStation 2. That game is amazing. That game is so much fun. I played it, and it's a good game. The game, again, doesn't use the normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Playing style, but that's like the good thing about it, because this is an older game, and if it did have the normal play style with the normal story mode, it would be so boring. Like, see Yugi go through Duelist Kingdom and do this, like the story mode that we don't want to get that same story mode over and over. So these games where they're inventive and creative and they change the style of Yu-Gi-Oh! Up, it's amazing, because these games are fun no matter when you play them, because it's not the original rules. It's something new and refreshing. So this game uses Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards like chess pieces, and all the different Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are turned into some type of chess similar piece, and that's how they move around the board, and they have their attacks. and they clash, and the game is just amazing. It has Exodia in it. It has the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in it. It's like, yo, this game has a good story mode in it, and it's very, very, very fun. Your chess pieces level up as they attack monsters, and I enjoy this game a lot. My only problem with this game, and why it's not ranked any higher, is that once you beat the game, the story mode just starts over, and it doesn't get any harder. So if you beat the game once, all your pieces are already leveled up, and you could destroy the game a second time. So that kind of takes the fun out of it, because it's not challenging anymore after you beat it. But the game does have 2-player mode, and if you play with a friend, y'all can just go at it with each other, and it's an amazing game. So this game would be cool for them to bring back out, so people could play against each other 2 players, and maybe raise the difficulty of the story mode after you beat it the first time. So definitely check that game out. Number 4, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V Tag Force Special 2, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force 1. So there's a bunch of games in between there. So the Tag Force games, they're just amazing. Like, you can tag duel, you can still single duel, but the whole campaign is about tag dueling. You find a partner, you team up with them, and y'all just tag dueling, y'all take on the whole story. And that game is amazing. It's a bunch of cards, GX style, and forward. So, in the game, they all run with the same engine. They pretty much have the same graphics, but each new game updated the cards, updated the cards, updated the cards. So you have Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You even have 6, which was Japan only, and 7, which was Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V Tag Force Special. And that one is amazing because that one, it has characters from every generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! From the newest one, the previous newest one, Arc V, it had Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, it had Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, regular Yu-Gi-Oh! characters from the original, and they can all just go out and play against each other. So that game is amazing. That game is in Japanese too, but you can get the emulator and find a translated version that's pretty much translated, like 90%. So that game is amazing. Tag Force games are very, very, very fun. They wasn't just keep making them for no reason. Like, me and my friends used to play that game a lot. So, number 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses. That game is amazing, and again, it does not play the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! Style way. It's new rules, a new playing style. You're like playing on a mat, and you have a deck master, and you're playing cards around your deck master, and you're trying to get to your opponent's deck master. And on the way, any monsters you meet of your opponents, y'all battle, and your life points gets reduced from there. And if you meet the deck master, you can attack directly. So this game does take a while to get used to, and they start you off with trash cards. You got to get lucky and get cards, or play it and get cards. But you could put in codes and get better cards just to give you a little boost and play the game. But this game is very fun, and once you play it and you learn the rules, it's just so much fun, and it's like very entertaining. And the music is great. This song right here is from this game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses. And its deck master abilities, this game gets so strategic on a different level that's not normally Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's very fun. They have field power bonuses and monster effects. It's like, that game is amazing. So definitely check Duelists of the Roses out. The graphics is amazing. It's from back in the days when they actually gave graphics to Yu-Gi-Oh! games. So definitely check out Duelists of the Roses. At number 2, we got Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom, which was one of the most amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! games and one of the most hyped Yu-Gi-Oh! games because they finally gave us the Egyptian gods. Like, very few Yu-Gi-Oh! games gave us the Egyptian gods, and this game is the only game that gave us the Egyptian god cards in 3D, where you could just see them like, Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, and Winged Guardian Dragon of Road. This game gives you them, and you can play with them. And this game is not the traditional style of Yu-Gi-Oh! 2, but it's very fun. It's like a Final Fantasy type gameplay, where like you have your monsters, they have levels, you use their attacks. As they level up, they gain new attacks, they gain special abilities, and you fight the gods. And you have Yugi story mode and Kaiba story mode. And if you play Yugi story mode first, Kaiba story mode gets harder. You play Kaiba story mode first, Yugi's get harder. And after you beat them both, you unlock Joey story mode, and the game is just very fun. The boss of every story mode controls one of the god cards, so you're going up against all of their minions and all of their right-hand mans and all of the people in between and under, and you get into the final opponent, and it's just very, very, very fun. The game even has a challenge mode where you can just like fight monster team after monster team after monster team, and then fight all the gods and see if you can beat everybody with the same health. So definitely an amazing game that you can play over and over and over, because the game, after you beat it, a hard mode is unlocked, and you can just like keep playing it and level up your monsters. The game is very fun, very number 2 worthy. Now, the number 1 game on the list is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which is a game for Androids and iPhones, and you can play it on the tablet too. This game is the most funnest, most challenging Yu-Gi-Oh game that I ever played. Like, one of the things that make it the most fun is that the level of difficulty of the game. Now, the end game difficulty isn't that hard, but what makes the game so hard is that when you go online, it's a whole different story. Like, the online mode is very competitive, and the more you win, the more you rank up to play more competitive opponents on your level, and the rankings go up and up and up and up. And what makes this game amazing is that the highest rank is King of Games, and in order to get to King of Games, you have to make it to the second highest rank in the game, which is Platinum 3, and you have to win 5 times in a row. And after you win 5 times in a row, you get to make it to King of Games. All the other ranks below that, you only have to win 3 times to rank up. And this game does not play with the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh style. This game kind of does, but you only have 3 Monster Zones and 3 Magic and Trap Card Zones. You don't have 5 and 5 like normal Yu-Gi-Oh. And some cards text was changed to not make the game broken, because you only start off with 4,000 life points in this game, not 8,000. And at first I didn't like that. That made me not a fan of the game, because I thought it was bootleg. I'm like, yo, I think phone games are limiting. Like, phone games, very few phone games are as good as system games. So I thought that you start off with 4,000 life points because they couldn't get it to 8,000. Like, the phone couldn't handle it, but that's not the reason why. They just made changes to the game to make it more mobile friendly and more quicker, which is fun, and it's cool because 4,000 life points is like the TV show. So, you know, it's a great experience. You know, the game is very, very, very fun. Y'all gotta play, y'all gotta try, y'all gotta check it out. You know, at first, when you first play, you will have the weaker cards, and you will have to, you know, play opponents, unlock gems, buy packs, and, you know, get better cards. But once you get at a competitive level, the game is very fun, even if you're not at a competitive level, because at the lower ranks, it's people who's not that competitive, but then you get higher up to the higher ranks. The events that they have in the game is very good. You know, they're hosting a world tournament 2017 right now. The best 8 players get to go to London. You get in-game prizes. You get special duelists appear, like, you know, Yemi Bakura appears, Yugi Moto appears, the Paradox Brothers just came. This game is amazing. This game is like the most funnest, most challenging Yu-Gi-Oh game I ever played. So I definitely recommend this game to everybody, and I recommend all the games on this list. You know, a lot of the games are based on, like, you know, how much can you play the game, how fun is the game, how much can you play the game over and over, playtime, how good is the game. Just check these games out. Did I miss a game? Is there a Yu-Gi-Oh game that you feel that should have been on this list? If so, comment the game below and let me know why the game should be on the list, what you enjoy about the game, and let me know what is your top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh games that you enjoy. Put your list down in the comments below, and I will check it out and respond to it. And if you like this video, please give a like and subscribe to the page. Peace.